The first Nintendo Direct for the Nintendo Switch 2 was today, and it was pretty eventful to say the least. I won't waste your time here to go through all the technical details of the console because I know that's been posted everywhere by today and probably got your fix, through a news article or another channel. I will say though that I am pretty pleased that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be operating at a higher visual fidelity than the predecessor. I wasn't a big fan of the Nintendo Switch 2 when it came to that department. I know Nintendo really isn't all about the visuals and it's about the quality of the game. I get it. I understand. I've been a Nintendo fan since I was 5 years old. So I understand that, Nintendo always cares about the quality of the games before the visuals, but I can't lie. That was something that's pretty lacking for me when it came to the Nintendo Switch department. I mean, the visuals weren't bad, but they weren't great either. So I was happy to find out that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be shipping with a 1080p LCD screen, and then when it's docked, it can have up to a 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, and then it can even do 1080p with up to 120 frames per second. So that really had me like, okay, thank you for finally taking that leap, because for me as a player, as an individual, I needed that visual fidelity for anything, and I'm glad we're there. But let's get to the big topic of the day, which is the price, man. So when the Nintendo Direct ended, I was just like, yo, where's the price? They gave us the specs, they gave us the release date, which was for June 5th, and they were completely blank with the price. Now, I was already like, oh nah, what was going on here? But shortly after, via social media, we found that the base price for the Switch was $450 USD. And I was like, that's not bad. I can deal with that. I can get with this. But shortly later, we saw the price of the games. And the first price that we saw of the games was that the bundled edition that's coming with Mario Kart World is going to be for $499 USD dollars. And I was like, okay, so that means the games are going to be around 50, 60. Nah. When they released that price, when they released that image that said Mario Kart World is $79.99, boy, I took a step back. And I was just like, okay, spoke too soon. Because, I mean, the presentation was great. I felt like this is one of the best Nintendo Directs in recent memory. I mean, Nintendo Directs are always so-so with me because, I'm not that much of a fan. I haven't been that much of a fan of the Switch. But this one was really great. They were hitting on all points for me when it came to the presentation of the console, to the addition of the chat features. We're getting game chat features. Like, Nintendo is actually taking online seriously this time, and I really love that. The features of having the microphone, which I hope don't sound like the PS4 mics back in the day, because boy, it sounded like you were talking into a fan or something. But it looks like they got some kind of like NVIDIA technology that's going to help amplify the voice to make it sound clear. So that seems like a plus. And plus the whole thing that you can chat using the chat button, you can connect with people via the Nintendo camera, and you can stream to your what I'm assuming is a Nintendo party or anything like that. Like, I think all those are great. And then the fact that we can upgrade the Nintendo Switch games. Well, select games will be upgradable to the Nintendo Switch 2 via a fee, of course, which I also saw a lot of discourse about where people were upset with that. I mean, we went through that with the PS3, PS4 era. So, I mean, it depends on the price. I mean, I remember it was like $10 upgrade back from the PS3 to PS4. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the same thing going here, but I don't think that's a big deal. Upgrade price for a game that you already own. Yeah, I know it sucks, but it's a new version of the game. Argue with me later. I understand. But for the base price of these games, I mean, if read somewhere that the Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks amazing, by the way, is going to be $69.99. So is this just a premium price tag for Mario Kart? Because it's Mario Kart. And part of me is like, I know people are like, man, had the guts to pull this off, to renounce a game at $80. But should we really be surprised at Nintendo? That's not an excuse. I get it. It's kind of bad for the consumer that, these game prices are rising. But I feel like, we got to be real here. If anybody was going to pull this move, it was going to be Nintendo. And that's not a cop-out. That's not an excuse. I'm just trying to keep it real here. Nintendo has always been the company to be just with their moves. But I do think it was kind of dirty not announcing the base price and the game price at the end of the Direct. Kind of misled people there, and I feel like that was done on purpose. I feel like that was to keep everybody's hype in check, because they knew that this presentation was probably going to be, really, really good and really please a lot of people. So they were like, oh, let's just not tag this at the end. But do I want to pay $80 for a game? No, I really don't. Should we combat this? Yes. Is it going to do anything? I'm not sure, because Nintendo is a brand that is loved by almost the whole world. And I feel like Nintendo knows they have that power. And once again, this is not an excuse. I'm just speaking on facts. I'm just speaking on what we have seen in the past. But I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't feel like every game is going to be $80. I do think that, they're doing this because it's Mario Kart. Mario Kart is, the console seller when it comes to Nintendo. And I can't lie, Mario Kart World looks amazing. It looks great. It's the first Mario Kart game that I've been excited for in a long, long time. And, I've been playing Nintendo since I was 5. So you can combat me on this. I don't feel like Mario Kart has been really interesting in a while. That's a whole nother argument. I know some people won't like that, but just for me, it hasn't really been it. But this one looks really, really great. And a lot of other games that they announced as well that I'm really excited about. I mentioned Donkey Kong Bonanza, which looks really, really great. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond looks really, really cool. I haven't really played that much of the Prime series, so if I was to get a Nintendo Switch 2, I would definitely pick that up. But who knows what the price is going to be on that one. It might be $80 as well. But most of the other games that were announced, Hyrule Warriors is not coming until later this winter. That could be winter of next year, all we can believe. The fact that it's going to be supporting games like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade, we're going to be getting Cyberpunk on the Nintendo Switch, which was really, really surprising to me. We're going to be getting Elden Ring, which was a shocker, but I think it was a good shocker. We got to see what that performance is looking like, though, because that trailer was it wasn't looking good. And the fact that we're getting games like Street Fighter 6, that's really, really cool to me. I really love that we're seeing, these kind of modern, generation console games finally coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 and looking to be not such like a visual disparity between other versions of the game. So, yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on some things. I do have a particular game I want to talk about, but I'm going to save that for another video because that kind of surprised me when they announced it. But let me know how you're feeling about the price factor of Nintendo Switch 2 games. I really would love to know your input on this and what your thoughts about it. And yeah, if you enjoyed my thoughts, these were just kind of my rough thoughts on the presentation as a whole. I really didn't plan to do a video, but I was like, nah, let me just get my thoughts out on this and see if anybody want to have a conversation. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.